Hi, it's Petrelli here. Thank you for coming back for the other Brompton videos. I just came back from a ride. I was riding with a friend of mine. He's used to be just riding on the road bike, but I think I really convinced him getting a Brompton. But the Brompton is quite hard to get these days. But let's see how it goes. We're not going to talk about that here. So today I'm going to cover a little bit on how to maximizing your tires on the Brompton. It's just not on the Brompton area. This rules applies to all the bicycle as well. So as some of you might know, your Brompton rear tire actually wears off much faster than the front tire. So let me show you with my tires on my Brompton here. These tires are relatively new. I think I would have around 500 km on them. So if you can see from the front tire, you can see the center line is still pretty much on the front wheel. So it's still very new, still have a lot of life in it. At the rear one, the center line is already gone. So definitely it's been taking a lot more toll than the front one. So according to the information from the Strawberry website, these tires would generally last between 2,000 to 5,000 kilometers. Why the range so large? Depends on the surface and the weight of the rider, really. With my experience on the Kojak that I'm riding on, they generally would last for around 3,000 km. Yeah. So with the Marathon Plus, they will hit you 5,000 km plus. But I myself prefer the Kojak. One of the biggest reasons why the rear tire wears off much faster than the front tire is because of the weight distribution when we sit on the bike. There are plenty of information on the internet that you can actually find to show you what the weight distribution on your front and rear wheel. It generally ranges from 50-50 to 30 to 70 between the front and rear wheel. So the front always will have less. So if you're riding a more aggressive bike, like a time trial bike, where you have the crouch position, the front wheel will bear a lot more weight. But with the Brompton, it's such a relaxed bike, there will be a lot more weight on your rear wheel than the front. I actually did a non-scientific test. I just put the bike on scale with me being on the bike. So just a quick note between the weight distribution on the front and rear wheel. When you ride the bike, the weight distribute on either the front or the rear actually flows a little bit up and down. So take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, let's continue. As you can see from here, the front wheel is actually taking 32 kg of my weight, and the rear wheel is taking 68 kg of the weight. So adding together, it's almost like 100 kg. So the weight difference, the weight distribution is about 32% to 68%, which is slightly over a 1:2 ratio, with the rear slightly over 2 times the weight as the front. So with this weight ratio concerns in mind, and while the rear wheel is actually driving us forward when we ride the bike, it's not hard to see why the rear tire actually wear off much faster than the front one. So with my experience on this bike in the last 8 years or so, the ratio on consuming these tires is almost like 1:2. That means like every 2 rear tire you consumed, 1 at the front will be used. So most of the time when we buy the tires, we buy them in pairs. And sometimes we want to try out different brands, different model of the brands of the tires. So you buy them in pairs, you fix them on, you ride them. And when you ride them, you don't do anything to your tires. You would literally ride until the rear one is done, while there's still a little bit of life left at the front. You'll generally be wasting a lot of life left in the front tire, while the rear one is completely gone. So generally speaking, I have this practice. It's to swap the tire around during the lifespan of the tires. So the idea was to make them run out together at the same time, so we get the best bang of our money. So now I'm going to remove my front and rear wheel and swap the tire between both of these out, and let's do it. So if we go by the calculations, in the most ideal case, we would want to swap the tire out when the rear wheel is left with 40% of its life, while the front left with 70%. If we go by the ratio of 2:1. So the rear wheel left 70% of its life, the front wheel left with 70%. But these are all pure calculations, right? When you swap them around, the front becomes the rear becomes the front. By the time you finish the entire rear wheel, that 70% of life left with there, the front wheel should be left with a few percent left. That way, we're maximizing both of the rubber on our wheels. So swapping the tire around is quite easy. I'm not going to cover it in full today. I will be actually making a full video on how you can swap the tires properly, and making sure everything works is fine. I think being able to change out your tire is like a skill that every rider should have. So the tires swap and the wheels are put back. quite an easy task. If you've done it enough, actually this process would take you maybe maximum 10 minutes for both of them. So my tires here, by no means they are reaching to the point where they need to stop. They're still pretty new, but I swapped them for the sake of just showing you guys as a demo to you guys only. But if you do service your bike from time to time, you can literally just swap them out whenever you like. So here's the bike. They've been done up with both the tire swap. It's all done and ready for the ride. So I hope you guys find this video interesting and being able to pick up something from here. If you do enjoy the channel, please consider subscribe to it. I'm heading off to test the bike now, so I guess I should see you on the next video. For the meantime, dash!